Now, in America, they're celebrating Stepmother's Day. It's this coming Sunday. So, do you think that we should have something similar here in the UK?
Well, I don't know about that, but I think that I'm a stepmom to two girls.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the most complicated relationships that you can have. And it's, at times, it has felt like walking on an absolute tightrope. I met Izzy when she was 7, and I'll never forget this sort of, this very sort of worried little girl coming into this house with this new woman, with her dad that she'd adored, that she'd just had to herself. And they'd been split up for years when by the time Mark and her mum had split up when she was 3. So it wasn't like I was the new woman.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what I was going to do with this child. I had no concept. And then she walked in and all she was a little lost girl. So all I did was respond to her like you would with any child, and I just played with her. And really, I never really changed that right the way through. And so for me, I mean, we've had... Izzy has had lots of ups and downs. We as a family have had lots of ups and downs. But Izzy and I have never fallen out. We've never argued. I've never shouted at her. I've never disciplined her. I've never anything. I've always just kept myself as her friend. Yeah. And at times, I'm sure she's disliked me and some of my behaviours, and I'm sure back and forth. But she stayed with us the last weekend, and she got out the car. And she was,
how old is she now?
22. 22. And as she was walking off to the train station, I just found, and I'm not a crier, I just found myself just tears streaming down my face. And I just said, oh my God, I said to Mark, I love that girl so much. My heart was bursting. And I would never have thought I would have got to that at the beginning and at the tricky times. And I texted her and I said that. And she just came back and she said, oh, Nadia, I just love you so much. And I was just... Oh, it was just... the reason I'm telling this story is because for people that are struggling, because it is such a struggle, because you're trying to balance so many different things. You don't want to upset the real mum. You don't want to infiltrate any parts of the relationships with the dad.
Do you worry about the real mum?
You can get to the other side.
Do you consider that? Because there's so many things to consider.
Yeah,
I mean,
we never had a friendship. We never even had an acquaintanceship. That's how she wanted it, and we kept it like that. But I never said a bad word about her. I never said anything negative. I only ever said, your mum, your mum, your mum. And I saw myself as her friend. Now, where I think a lot of people might disagree with what I did as a step-parent, and I don't know whether this is right, is the fact that I never disciplined her in any way at all.
That's what I mean, I was just listening. It's really interesting. It's a difficult relationship, isn't it? And at what point do you become a step-parent as opposed to the new girlfriend or boyfriend of the mum and dad? Because that is a big leap, isn't it? To call yourself a step-parent, parent anything is big. And part of the job of a parent is to discipline, is to take tough decisions, is to sometimes...
She didn't live with me, so I saw it as she is very difficult. I just remember when we used to drop her off at her mum's and she would go up the lane and you'd see the child changing, because they change to come into your space and then they have to change to go back in the other space. So my thinking was, we see her every other week on holidays, so to me, I just wanted to come and just have a lovely time.
I don't know if it ever happened. What if she came for a weekend and she was an absolute little madam, as all children can be? Would you...
And you've got 2 girls now.
Would you? I would. No, I never would have said anything. It would always be to her dad.
Regardless of her behaviour?
No, not at all. She was never rude to me. She was never... So, but if there was anything that needed adjusting, then Mark would talk to her. Never... Because I didn't want to cross the line. That was her mother's job. That was her mother's place. That was Mark's place. And I wanted to be her friend. I didn't want to be her mum.